Hello everyone, this is Jennifer from Junk Journals by Jen, where journaling is about the journey. Today I'm going to share with you how to make an altered book of pockets. Now these can seem a little intimidating, but they really aren't, just a little tedious. They're a great project to work on in front of the TV, and I'll show you a couple of tips I've learned along the way as well. Let me show you what a completed one looks like to start with. And this is one that's completed and is in my shop. And it's got several different kinds of pockets in it. You'll see here's a top loading pocket. We've got a side loading pockets here, different type of side loading pocket, front loading pocket, corner pocket, another top loading pocket. So you see, you can do any type of pocket you want or can think of, you can do in here. So there's a completed one. Let's set that aside. And if you want to make one today, what you need is a book. Now there's some controversy about what type of book you need, whether you need a book that's glued to the spine or sewn to the spine. And I've tried it both ways, and I'll tell you that both ways have worked for me. I think what's the most important part is that you run a bead of glue along the spine when you finish your page up. And I'll show you that in a minute, what I'm talking about. Okay, so you need a book. You need a glue with a small nozzle is best. Ink if you want to ink it, which I do. You need some paper clips. I'm going to need some paper clips. And we're going to need a circle punch. You don't need a circle punch. You could use scissors if you want. A circle punch makes it easier. And I believe that's all we're going to need to start. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is decide what page I'm going to start on. And I usually leave a couple of pages here that can be decorated, and I like to leave the information about the book. Then I'll take out, and then another thing is these couple of first pages are oftentimes glued together down, and they're hard to tear out, and I don't want to damage the book, so I'll leave those in. Maybe the first 4 pages usually. And then I'll start with the pocket. And you can start with whatever kind of pocket you want. And I'll do a corner pocket here. And what I do is just go ahead and fold it for now. I don't glue it yet. Just fold it. And then you're going to tear out your pages. And this is where it comes in the tedious part, because you need to tear out I tear out about 8 pages. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now this stuff here is going to be covered, so you don't really need to mess with that too much. It'll be covered by the pocket itself. So then what I do is I've got the front, I've got 8 pages torn out, and then I've got the back, and I paper clip them together. I don't glue it until I have the whole book sorted out as far as the pages torn out. If that makes sense. Now I've counted these to 8. I set them aside because I lose count. So I will have a pile that I'm counting at the moment. And then when I'm done counting them, I put them into the big pile. That's a tip for you, because I oftentimes lose count while I'm doing it. This one we're going to have be a top loading pocket. I hope that made sense to you. I'll show you again here in a second. So we're going to just put a little notch in there. And then we're going to tear out 8 pages again. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now we paper clip these two together. Okay, now I've got this one all done, so I put that in the main stack. And these are great for use to make pockets out of, or collage, or whatever you want to use it for. Glue pages, whatever you want. I save them and use them all the time. Okay, so this one, let's make it a pocket that faces this side. So this will be the back, and then we'll tear out 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, when I get a bunch like that, I do kind of work at it and try to get it out a little better. Okay, so I've got 8 there, and I'll take this, and you can either fold it over, or you can cut it off, but I'm just going to fold it over, and I'll glue it. When I come back, I'll do all my gluing. For right now, we're just going to pin it. Okay, and then this will be the front of the next pocket. So we'll fold this the same way, and then we'll tear out 8. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So basically, we go through and do the whole book like that. Let's do a side pocket here. We'll take this and do a little notch. And then we'll do our 8. I hope you're finding value here. If so, please go ahead and hit the like button. I really appreciate it if you would. One, 2, 3. Hope everybody's doing great today. 4, 5, 6. I feel like the count on Sesame Street. 7. Ha ha ha. 8. 8 book sheets. All right, and then we'll paper clip those together. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, we would go through and do that for the whole book. I'm not going to make you watch me do all of that. You get the idea, I'm sure. The next thing we would do would be to glue it, and I glue and ink all in one step. So I go back, we're going to say that the whole thing has been torn out and we've got all our pockets folded. So we go back to the beginning, and like I said, I ink and glue all at once. So I'll go back to the very first page, start here, and start inking it. And I use a brush for the page creases, and then I use a sponge for the edges of the pages. And I'm using, what am I using here today? Vintage Photo. Sometimes I use walnut stain, just depends, but I really like Vintage Photo on this project. And I ink it pretty good because I think it just looks nice and vintagey, and all right. In between here. My daughter's coming to visit today from Iowa. I'm so excited. Haven't seen her in a few months. Anyway, I woke up. It's 3 in the morning here right now. Thinking they're probably on the road right now and couldn't go back to sleep. We've got like a 14-hour drive, but it's like Christmas for me. Get to see my little granddaughter. She's just the cutest thing. She calls me Muggle. She doesn't say grandma. But I don't know where she came up with Muggle from, but that's what she calls me. I think it's funny. These are so cute. I want to do one of these in like a Victorian theme, or oh, even a steampunk. This would be really cute, a little steampunk ephemera holder. But you can just mindlessly do this while you're in front of the TV, and it takes a little time. It's a lot of inking, but it's mindless work really, and it goes by, you know, you don't have to think about it. You can just do it and watch your favorite show. That's what I like to do while I'm working on these. Once you get in the swing of it, it's really no problem at all. Fun to make. Okay, now we're on a page with a pocket, finally. So we're going to just go ahead and ink this middle part here. I'm going to fold that pocket just a little bit shorter. We don't want it bending when the page is turned. There we go. Okay. I'm going to ink this before I glue it. And you want to go ahead and ink all the pages, because even though you glue some of them, it still shows up. So I just ink them all. That way when the book's closed, you don't have any white showing. Okay, so when you get to this page now, you're ready to glue it. You're going to take your glue and glue down the middle of this page here. That's why I said to use a glue bottle with a narrow tip, if you've got one. And just put a thin bead of glue right down the middle of your spine. Okay, and then you're going to do some glue just around the page. Okay, and then we need to glue this flap down too. Okay. That's our first pocket. And we're going to ink this page. Okay, get your thumb notch real good. Take this paper clip off. All right, now we're going to glue this one down the same way. We're going to do a bead down the center. And then we're going to go around the outside of the pocket. And then we'll close this page. Always close the book and let it rest for just a few seconds. It seems to come out flatter that way. Okay, so you get the idea. You just keep on inking and gluing until you get the whole book done. I'll do this last page with you. These are great Christmas gifts, I believe, for if you have somebody who is into paper crafting or just likes books and would like to organize maybe their Christmas cards that they get in one, or you could put recipes in them. You could use them for lots of things, not just junk journal purposes. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing here. Let's see. First, we're going to ink this. Now on this one, don't do the glue to a bead of glue down the middle of this. You only want it in between the pockets. Okay, so bead of glue. This just helps reinforce the spine. Okay, I'm going to glue this down so it's out of the way. And then glue this on the sides. All right. So one last tip. I think you get the idea of how to make this now. Here's what we've done so far. A couple of different pockets. One last tip is when you get to the end and you have torn out all your pages, you might have to count down to the last pocket. You might only need to tear out, 4 or 5 pages. Just count down to how many pages you have left, and don't just tear out 8 and then you don't have a back for your pocket, I'm saying. So just when you get to the last page, count how many you need and then tear out that many and just save the last page. I always save a couple of pages at the end, just like I did at the beginning, because they're glued together. So I'll keep like 3 or 4, usually about 3, that are just single pages that can be decorated. And then the one before that will be the back page of my pocket. And then I'll tear out the several before that. And then the one before that will be the front page of my pocket. So I hope you found that helpful. That's how you make an altered book of pockets. And once you get done, it will look like this. And I hope you enjoyed it. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already done so. Please visit me at my Etsy shop, which is linked below. And I'll also include the link for the 1,000 subscriber contest if you haven't entered yet. It's a big bundle of over 50 items. It's well over 50 items. And that's all for now. Bye, everybody.